You spent $500 on a PS5, so stop playing the same two games. I am talking about graphics that look photorealistic, stories that will make you cry, and gameplay that feels absolutely perfect. I have collected 19 literal 10 out of 10 masterpieces that you need to play at least once in your life. No filler, just the best. Let's get straight into it. Look, saying Elden Ring is just a good game is like saying the ocean is a bit wet. This game didn't just win Game of the Year, it completely ruined every other open world game for me. You're dropped into the lands between with absolutely zero handholding. There are no map markers telling you where to go, no checklist of chores to do, just you, your horse torrent, and a massive, terrifyingly beautiful world. One minute you're riding through a golden forest, and the next you stumble into a hidden underground city that shouldn't even be possible. Is it hard? Yes, absolutely. You will see the "you died" screen hundreds of times, but finally beating a boss like Melania after she has been wrecking you for 3 hours gives you a rush of adrenaline that no other game can match. It is a masterpiece in every sense. Spider-Man 2 is basically Insomniac Games walking into the room and flexing on the entire industry. This version of New York isn't just good graphics, it is borderline photorealistic. We're talking about ray trace reflections in every single window and puddle that actually reflect the world in real time. And the movement? Swinging between skyscrapers at a locked 60 frames per second feels electric. There is zero pop-in and zero stuttering, just pure flow. But what really sells it is the story. You get to play as both Peter Parker and Miles Morales, dealing with the terrifying presence of Venom. The stakes feel personal and dangerous. Insomniac spent years polishing this experience, and honestly, it is the best superhero simulator ever made. You will spend hours just swinging around the city because it feels so perfect. If you think you know what a horror game looks like, Alan Wake 2 is here to prove you wrong. Remedy didn't just make a sequel, they made a mind-bending psychological thriller that blurs the line between video games and live-action cinema. You play two realities at once, Saga's detective investigation in the Pacific Northwest and Alan's nightmare in the dark place. The atmosphere is so thick you can practically choke on it. The lighting and sound design are genuinely unsettling, making you question what is real. And yes, there is a literal musical number in the middle of this horror game, and somehow it is one of the best gaming moments of the decade. It is weird, bold, and unlike anything else. It is a total 10 out of 10 experience that respects your intelligence. You need to play this with the lights off. Prepare your heart for this one because A Plague Tale Requiem is going to break it. This is not just about sneaking past guards anymore. It is a gut-wrenching journey about how far you would go to save the person you love. Visually, it is stunning. The landscapes of medieval France are breathtaking. But then come the rats. We aren't talking about a few dozen rats. We are talking about literal tsunamis of thousands of rats filling the screen. It is technically impressive and absolutely terrifying at the same time to see them flowing like water. The bond between the sister Amicia and her little brother Hugo is the soul of this game. It is emotional and heavy. If you want a narrative that will stick with you long after the credits roll, this is it. Just be ready to cry by the end of it. This is the game that proved the PS5 wasn't just a slightly faster PS4. Blue Point Games took the grandfather of the Souls genre and rebuilt it from the ground up to be a total visual showcase. The lighting, the textures on the armor, and the magic effects make it arguably still the best-looking game on the console years after launch. But don't let the pretty face fool you. This game is brutal. It is old-school difficult. There are no checkpoints outside of boss rooms, so dying means restarting the whole level. The atmosphere in places like the Tower of Latria is suffocatingly scary. It is a history lesson in game design, wrapped in the most gorgeous graphics package imaginable. If you want to see where Elden Ring came from, you have to start here. It is painful, but beautiful. Capcom did an amazing job with this game. They took the classic version from 2005 and made it feel brand new for modern players. The best thing about this game is the tension. You always feel like you are in danger because you never have enough ammo. The enemies in the village are very smart now. They work together to corner you, which makes every fight feel scary. The gameplay is much smoother too. The coolest new move is the knife parry. You can actually use your tiny knife to block a giant chainsaw attack if you time it right. It feels incredibly satisfying to pull that off. They also fixed the character Ashley. In the old game, she was annoying to protect, but now she is much better and helpful. The graphics are dark, gritty, and look very realistic. It is the perfect mix of horror and action. If you decide to play this game, please wear headphones. The sound is the scariest part of the experience. The spaceship sounds like it is alive, with creaking metal and screams coming from the vents. You play as Isaac, who is an engineer, not a soldier. This makes the combat feel heavy and desperate. You cannot just shoot enemies in the head to kill them. You have to shoot off their arms and legs. This makes you think carefully before you shoot. The graphics on PS5 are incredible. When you shoot the monsters, you can actually see the damage on their bodies, which is gross but looks very real. The lighting is very dark, so you have to use your flashlight to see where you are going. It is a stressful experience, but if you like sci-fi horror movies, you will love this. This is the best game to play if you want to see what the PS5 can really do. It looks exactly like a high-budget animated movie from Pixar. The fur on Ratchet and the shiny metal on Clank look perfect. The coolest feature is the speed. You can jump through magic portals and land in a totally different world instantly. There are no loading screens and no waiting. It keeps the game moving very fast. The weapons are also super fun and creative. You're not just using boring guns, you can use a weapon that turns enemies into plants, or one that bounces shots around the room like a pinball. You can also feel the weapons shaking in your hands because of the features in the new controller. It is a short game, but it is pure fun from start to finish without any boring parts. Don't let the internet drama fool you. This is actually a very good action game. The combat feels a bit like a mix of other famous games like Sekiro and Nioh. It is not a game where you can just mash buttons to win. You have to learn how the enemies move. You need to block at the perfect second and dodge attacks to survive. The boss fights are the best part. They are huge, challenging, and look amazing on the screen. The music is also fantastic, with a mix of pop songs and intense battle themes. The story is a bit simple, but the gameplay is so good that you won't care. It runs very smoothly at 60 frames per second. Also, there are many outfits to unlock for the main character, which adds a lot of replay value for collectors. If you miss the old days of action games but want modern graphics, this is for you. From Software is famous for making hard games like Dark Souls, but this is a robot game. It is all about speed, explosions, and building your own machine. You can spend hours in the garage just changing parts on your robot. You can choose to be a heavy tank with big cannons or a fast flyer with laser swords. The choice is yours. The bosses in this game are very tough. They will test your reflexes and your patience. But the feeling when you finally beat a boss after trying for an hour is amazing. The explosions look great, and the sound of the metal crashing is very powerful. It is a fast-paced game that makes you feel like a pilot in a war zone. It is difficult, but very rewarding. This is definitely the best Souls-like game that wasn't made by the original creators. It tells a dark and twisted version of the Pinocchio story. You are in a city called Krat, which is destroyed by crazy puppets. The atmosphere is very dark and rainy, similar to the game Bloodborne. The fighting focuses on blocking at the right time. You also have a very cool system where you can make your own weapons. You can take a handle from a dagger and put a giant axe head on it to make something new. It is a hard game, so be prepared to die a few times. But the story is actually very emotional. It asks interesting questions about what it means to be a real human. The graphics are beautiful in a dark way. Have you ever wanted to feel exactly like John Wick or Bruce Lee? Sifu is the closest you will ever get to that feeling. It is a brutal kung fu fighting game with a very smart twist. Every time you die in the game, your character gets older. You might start the level as a 20-year-old, but if you make too many mistakes, you finish as a 70-year-old master. You get stronger as you age, but your health bar gets shorter. The combat is all about flow. You have to block, dodge, and punch at the exact right moment. It is a very hard game that demands perfection, but when you finally clear a room full of bad guys without getting hit once, you feel like an absolute god of martial arts. It is stylish, difficult, and incredibly rewarding. If you love collecting loot and fighting demons, Nioh 2 is endless fun. It takes place in historical Japan, but filled with mythical monsters called yokai. The combat is much deeper than other games. You have 3 different stances, high, mid, and low for every single weapon. You can also transform into a demon yourself to do massive damage. It runs incredibly smoothly on the PS5. It can be a little confusing at first because there's so much gear and numbers to look at, but once you understand how to build your character, it becomes addictive. You always want to play just one more mission to find the better sword or armor. It is fast, colorful, and has hundreds of hours of content. Control is one of the weirdest and coolest games you can play right now. You explore the oldest house, which looks like a boring office building, but inside it defies the laws of physics. Rooms shift and change, and people float in the air. You play as Jesse, who has telekinetic powers. This means you can rip a chunk of concrete out of the wall and throw it at enemies with your mind. The destruction in this game is amazing. Desks shatter, papers fly everywhere, and glass breaks realistically during fights. The story is a big mystery that does not explain everything to you. You have to explore and read documents to understand what is happening. If you like mystery shows like X-Files or Twin Peaks, you need to play this. This game is strictly for people who want to feel immersed. On PS5, the lighting update makes it look terrifyingly realistic. You are traveling across a destroyed Russia on a steam train. The game forces you to survive, not just shoot. You have to wipe the mud off your gas mask to see. You have to clean your gun so they don't jam in the middle of a fight. You have to craft your own ammo. It is slow-paced and atmospheric. You feel the cold, the darkness, and the danger of the mutants lurking in the shadows. It is not a run-and-gun shooter. It is a tense road trip through a nightmare. The story is also very good, focusing on your crew and your wife, Anna. It feels very personal. Ubisoft really surprised everyone with this game. It is a 2D platformer, which means you move side to side, but it feels incredibly modern. The movement is perfect. You can dash, jump, and slide with total control. The combat is surprisingly deep for this type of game. You can launch enemies into the air and juggle them with combos like a fighting game. You also get time powers that let you rewind your mistakes or teleport. The map is absolutely huge and filled with secrets, puzzles, and hidden treasures. The boss fights look like high-budget anime scenes. It captures the challenge of old-school games but adds modern polish and style. It is easily one of the best games of the year. The less you know about Inscryption before playing, the better. On the surface, it looks like a simple spooky card game played in a dark cabin against a creepy shadow figure. But as you keep playing, it changes into something else entirely. It becomes an escape room puzzle, a psychological horror story, and a mystery all in one. The game constantly messes with your head and breaks the rules. It is not just about playing cards, it is about uncovering a dark secret. The atmosphere is very unique and unsettling. Just trust me on this one. Do not look up spoilers on YouTube. Just buy it and play it. It's an experience you'll remember for a long time because there's nothing else like it. Dredge is a fishing game, but with a horrifying twist. During the day, it is relaxing. You sail your little boat, catch fish, and sell them to upgrade your equipment. The water is blue and calm. But when the sun goes down, everything changes. The ocean becomes dangerous. Panic sets in. You start seeing red eyes in the fog, and giant monsters try to attack your boat. The game loop is very addictive. Just one more day of fishing to buy that new engine. It perfectly balances the cozy feeling of a fishing simulator with the creeping dread of a horror game. It is a small indie game, but it has a huge atmosphere that pulls you in immediately. From the same designer who made the famous games Inside and Limbo, Cocoon is a puzzle game that will make you feel like a genius. The idea is mind-blowing. You carry entire worlds on your back in little colored orbs. You can jump into an orb to solve puzzles inside that world and then jump back out to carry it somewhere else. It sounds complicated, but the game teaches you everything without using a single word of dialogue. The visual style is very colorful, alien, and clean. There's no combat, just pure puzzles and exploration. It is a short adventure, maybe 5 or 6 hours, but it is perfect from start to finish. It respects your time and your intelligence. And that is 19 games that are actually worth your time and money. But be honest, did I miss your favorite game? Roast me in the comments if I left it out. If you found even one new game to play today, hit that like button so I know. Go play some games, and I'll see you in the next one.